early 90s, a time of big hope and big promises from both the technology and automotive sectors. Today I'm going to be breathing new life into an Amiga A600, one of Commodore's lesser loved machines. I want to dive into why the A600 could in fact be Commodore's XJ220. In 1992, two products launched. Both were poised to be game-changing in their respective industries. The Jaguar XJ220, which promised to be the ultimate supercar, and the Amiga A600, a compact computer that was proposed to be a leap forward for Commodore. Both carried massive expectations, but ultimately fell short of their promise. So let's start with the Jaguar XJ220, a supercar that teased a V12 engine and all-wheel drive. Dream specs for any supercar enthusiast, but by the time the car hit production, those specifications had been changed just slightly. That V12 now replaced with a V6, all-wheel drive now just rear-wheel drive, and the price absolutely sky high. Very much a pay more and get less. So much so that depositors went to court to get out of their contracts. Headlines were filled with Jaguar not delivering on their expectation. From a PR perspective, this was a complete nightmare. And from a production standpoint and sales, they fell short of their original quota to sell 350 of these cars, only actually managing to sell 282, and a significant number of those were way below the retail price. Now let's talk about the A600. Commodore had made a name for themselves in the home computer market with models like the A500 and A500 Plus. Initially, the A300 was supposed to be a cut-down version of the A500. Due to management changes at Commodore, the specifications of this A300 started to merge a little bit with the A1200. They changed the name to the A600. Marketing started to push this A600 as an upgrade for those A500 and 500 Plus users. Let's pick the rest of this story up later in the video. For now, let's dig into the Amiga A600 build. My journey into building this A600 was much the same as many of my other journeys. I'm basically building a machine from parts. The original board I bought actually was in pretty good condition. And then I got talking to Chris Scott. If you remember Chris Scott, he's the nice man that gave me an Amiga 2000. He said his brother was having some problems with A600, and I said, well, I'll swap you this A600 motherboard that I've just recapped and is working perfectly for the one that your brother has. What I got in return was a slightly worse condition Amiga 600 board. Hey, I'm in the game of saving these machines, so that's not a problem. It just meant there was a little bit more work to do. Basically, it needed a full recap and the IDE port needed replacing. There was also a problem with audio, but I figured I'd recap it first and then dig into that later. Because of the amount of leakage on this board, I'm taking a very cautious approach, basically removing everything where leakage could have got underneath. And that includes the keyboard connector, the power coil, Running up to the launch for the A600, people were expecting an affordable advancement on the A500. Like the XJ220, the Amiga 600 started off with some bold ideas. In short, the A600 was not the technological leap that many hoped it would be. it turned out to be pretty much just a tweaked version of the A500 Plus. As you can imagine, the Amiga 600 didn't sell as well as Commodore would have liked, and this model disappeared into obscurity in 1993. Some say that the decisions made during 1992 were the final nail in the coffin of Commodore, as they went out of business in 1994, only 2 years after launching the fabled A600.
Sponsors of this video are PCBWay. They provide PCB prototype fabrication from as little as $5. They also have a huge library of shared projects, and if you're not confident with a soldering iron, you can get them to assemble them for you. PCBWay also have CNC machining and 3D printing services. All of this is available at PCBWay.com. Thanks PCBWay for sponsoring this video.
So now to the fix for the audio circuit. Looking at this using the best magnification I had at the time, I found there's a trace missing. This trace here, it should be connected all the way through. A simple bodge wire, and that fixed the problem perfectly. So now I've got a completely working Amiga 600. I need somewhere to put it, and that's where this case from eBay comes in. This is the cheapest case I could find on eBay for an Amiga 600 that didn't look like it had been run over or been in a car crash. That said, it's not without its battle scars. And we're going to spray the case. I did ask what colour you'd like the case to be. You might have noticed earlier that 2 pictures of Jaguar XJ220s were in the same colour scheme as this Amiga is going to be. Grey on top and bright candy orange underneath. It's an unusual colour scheme, but I like it. So the case looks awesome, it just feels wrong to put the standard coloured lights back in, so yeah, let's fix that as well. The keyboard was very generously donated to me by CRG. He also sent me a brand new membrane for it, which is more than I could ever ask. So let's get the membrane swapped and get this into the case. Well, I don't have a standard Amiga 600 floppy. I do have a floppy drive which I scavenged from the inside of an external floppy drive. One of the ones that I've converted to be a Gotek because I find an external Gotek to be far more useful than cramming one into every machine. And I do like still using floppies. It's nice to be able to boot from an original media. These floppies fit quite well, but you do have to adjust the button so that it fits. And it looks a bit odd, but it's functional, and that's all I'm interested with. So my hope is that the A600 finds its place in history, finds its place in the heart of many Amiga enthusiasts, just like the Jaguar XJ220 finally found its place in the heart of motoring enthusiasts.